Thanks to Rockin IT for making this video possible. They offer all sorts of parts based in South Africa, so wait to the end of the video or check the link in the description to learn more. Hello everyone, welcome to Easy Studios, and today we're having a look at the Kraken X52 from NZXT, and it is an incredible cooler with a really cool design, so let's have a look and see how to install it, and we're going to go over a quick review and what you can do with the lighting effects later on. So unboxing it, we get the cooler itself and a whole bunch of accessories. If you're on the AMD platform for AM4 or otherwise, just snap on the AM4 bracket after removing the Intel one. If you are on Intel 1151 or otherwise, keep that bracket on and slip the backplate underneath the motherboard so you can screw in the cooler. If you're on AMD, just simply pull it over and screw in the screw with the included clip on the bottom. Next, you're going to want to install your radiator. I recommend screwing in one little screw just to hold it in place while you screw in the first fan, and then you can remove that screw later on. Just hold the fan in place and use the longer screws to go through the fan into the radiator. Make sure not to use the longer screws if you're just attaching the radiator to the case and then the fan's on the bottom, because those can go through the radiator as well, so be careful of that depending on how you're mounting it. Make sure that you're keeping your fan cables away from the second fan once you install that, and once you finish installing the first fan, just undo that first screw that we screwed in to hold the radiator. That is of course optional, but I just recommend it as it's a nice easy way to make sure your radiator doesn't move around, as it can be quite difficult to use the first screw in the fan. Once you've done that, just move your cables round through the back of your case so you can plug those in later. Next up, we have the cables. So you have two included cables in the accessory kit. One has a whole bunch of fan headers and a SATA power connector, and the other has a USB cable. So you're going to want to plug both of those into the CPU block. The one goes on the top and the other goes slightly to the side of it. It's the USB cable, and you're just going to feed all of those through the back of your case if that's an option, just to make it nice and neat so you can't really see the cables. You're just going to want to plug in your fans into the fan splitter. That's a 4-way splitter, but you may only need 2 of them, as it's made for a push-pull configuration. Next, you're going to want to move your USB cable round to the back and just feed it underneath your motherboard tray so you can plug it into the bottom of your motherboard. Next, you're going to want to plug in your SATA power cable connector when you're plugging in your SSDs or otherwise. And that's it. Now you can turn on your system and the cooler should light up with its standard white LED loop, and the logo should light up as well. If not, just make sure everything's plugged in, and otherwise the temperatures were great on my CPU. I ran at a 36 to 40 degree idle temperature, and under heavy load in Blender it was actually really reasonable compared to my old CPU on an H100i, but that's because it was a really high wattage part. I reached a maximum of 69 degrees Celsius and didn't even touch 70 at all, so very impressive result. This is a Ryzen 5 3600, and if you want, you can mess around with the LEDs and have some cool monitoring software by downloading NZXT's CAM software, and they have some pretty interesting stuff. You can mess around with the lighting profiles, and you can actually do some basic overclocking as well in there. So I highly recommend checking out the software if you'd like to fiddle around with the lights. Otherwise, I actually prefer the stock setting on here. I did download the software anyway, but I use the stock setting because it's white and my case matches it. So I really like the cooler. It has a really nice design and it cools the CPU very well. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, leave a comment if you have a question, and join the Discord link in the description below. Thanks for watching, and goodbye. Huge thanks to Rockin IT for making this video possible. They offer all kinds of products, including PC hardware, drones, their own custom PCs, and more. All of this for a competitive price. Check them out in the link in the video description.